welcome to the show, everybody. Today, we're going to be talking 2025 NFL injuries, and I am honored to be joined by a true titan in sports medicine, Dr. David Chao, a board-certified orthopedic surgeon with a subspecialty certification in sports medicine. Dr. Chao isn't just an expert. He was the San Diego Chargers team doctor and the founder of SixScore.com and has performed over 18,000 surgeries. Dr. Chao's insights are unmatched. We are lucky to have him, and I'm excited to go through some 2025 injuries with you.
Well, thanks for having me. Happy to be here. Big fan of Line Star and all the guys over there, and fresh off of return from a visit to Canton for Antonio Gates's Hall of Fame induction, and thrilled to be there for him.
Yeah, that was something I actually totally wanted to talk to you. As a kid growing up in San Diego, I loved that team, that you were able to be the doctor for, and I'm sure you have some wonderful stories to go over, but we don't have a ton of time.
We won't go too fast, but it was a lot of fun. It was my third Hall of Fame. The first one wasn't so fun because it was Junior Seau, and he had passed. Yes. LT was fun, but a lot of guys were still playing. This one, everyone's retired. Everyone came back. Rivers, Breeze, they all came, and it was fun and good to see everybody. It was a nice surprise that he even gave yours truly a little brief shout out at his induction speech. But my funny little story about Gates is that his rookie year, he made the roster, but he wasn't, maybe 2 catches a game kind of deal. Then he had a breakout game. And before the breakout game, there was a national anthem singer, this girl who did a great job. And I said afterwards, do you see the national anthem singer? And Gates on the sidelines like, yeah, she did great. I said, no. Look at her jersey. That's not 55. That's not 37 Rodney Harrison. It's 85. She's got your jersey. And he's like, oh, great. And he had double-digit catches and over 100 yards that game, breakout game for him. And then after I told him that, I said to longtime right tackle Von Parker, I tapped him on the shoulders, and I said, should I tell Gatesy that that's actually Tim Dwight's jersey from last year? You just can't see the nameplate on the back because she's got long hair. He's like, nah, the more you can do. I actually told Gatesy that story at the Hall of Fame, and he laughed and, whatever. So it definitely was fun time seeing everybody, etc.
Yeah, that's great for sure. One of those inside stories that are very fun to talk about. Thank you for sharing that. Now let's dive in. I know you're on limited time. And the first I broke up some injuries and some guys that we wanted to talk about into different categories.
Mm-hmm.
And first, I wanted to throw out the soft tissue-ish injuries and talk about Devon Achane's calf injury. Then we got AJ. Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
Well, look, thanks for breaking it down like this. And look, in preseason, you don't really have video. And of course, you never get to see MRIs. And they're not even required to do injury reporting. That's where Travis Hunter, upper body, like hockey designation.
Yeah.
Teams are not required to give you anything. They're not even required for Achane to say calf, which did come out today. Initially, they said lower body soft tissue, right? Yeah. So here's the thing with soft tissue injuries. Number one, the earlier you get them, and it's inevitable on a lot of teams, the better. Look at Justin Jefferson. We weren't worried about him because it was opening training camp that he got his hamstring. Now he's Kevin O'Connell, San Diego kid, love him. Says he's around the corner from coming back and should be fine because he was a while ago. The recent injuries get more worrisome. And as you look down the list, the most worrisome one on there is Achane. Why? Calf, explosive guy. And guess what? Calf injuries can linger and reoccur. And they just don't go away. And now this late into preseason, we are now lowering his SIC score. We're saying for week 1, I'm not sure that he's ready, much less 100%. He's at least yellow. He's going to be at the highest in the 70s. We'll see what happens. And there's no such thing as a 1 week calf strain. And that's what some media has reported. And at Sports Injury Central, we do injury analysis as opposed to injury reporting. And that's the big difference. Look, coach speak is real. You see it all the time, right? We try and interpret coach speak for you. AJ Brown, we're hopeful his hamstring is more just that rest related to his chronic knees. Now, you worry about his knees, but that's also why the Eagles got him, because Tennessee would not have traded him without his knee issues. So the hamstring / chronic knees. Jennings is a calf, Juwan Jennings, but it happened earlier, so a better chance. Skattebo and Josh Downs, same thing. So you almost have them listed very well there in terms of order of worry, I suppose, almost.
I kind of tried to do that a little bit. One thing, there was a couple aspects of these I wanted to touch back on. AJ Brown,
Yes.
It's been like 17 days since he's been on the practice squad. That does scare me a little while. I know you talked about Justin Jefferson earlier. We saw, video of him catching balls today, so he is back. But AJ Brown still out there. And then Juwan Jennings, the report was that it's a re-aggravation from an injury in mini camp. And does that raise the concern at all for you?
It does some, and here's the thing. Re-aggravations always worsen, but what did we just say referring to Achane? Calves linger and re-aggravate. They don't go away. Okay. And here's Juwan Jennings from minicamp and re-aggravating. So yes, not in love with it. If I had to reorder it, I might put Achane, Jennings, and move Brown down a little bit, even though he hasn't been seen. He's a vet. Does anyone not think that he can go out there and play without a lot of practice time? Same team, same scheme, same quarterback. And it's almost in some ways good for his knee to have this rest with the hamstring. And we still have multiple weeks to go, 3 weeks to go, right, before the season. So we're not in danger territory for AJ Brown yet. But of course, we don't know the degree of hamstring injury.
Yeah, and I think that's the worry with Skattebo, is that he injured it, then re-aggravated it, and now it seems, much more worse.
Yep. And so hopefully, soft tissue injury, this is where, like, if someone reports to camp late or is a holdout or whatever, these preseason acclimation injuries, they're going to happen. You almost want to push them up and get them out of the way rather than have it happen later.
Yeah. And Terry McLaurin, obviously, if he comes back,
we're talking about
Terry
McLaurin in particular, and he's not young either. So, you got to be careful there.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, I wanted to talk about some more recovering injuries from last year, knee and ankle spots. We got Stefon Diggs, Rashee Rice, Brandon Aiyuk, Chris Godwin, and then through CMC on there, as all reports say he looks totally healthy. But, I have some concern just due to the fact there was some sort of arthritis or something in the Achilles last year. So take it away.
Well, look, I get it. CMC, people probably have PTSD that drafted CMC, right? I mean, I'm one of them before, he sort of fell to me in the Scott Fish draft. And so, yeah, I mean, but you have to think about this. There are a lot of fantasy guys that also had PTSD from drafting Saquon Barkley a couple of years ago. And we told you, don't draft Saquon Barkley coming off that ACL. Here at Line Star and otherwise. But then after that failed year, everyone's like, I can't draft Saquon. I'm like, no. He's okay now to draft Saquon. CMC, same thing. There's no reason this calf or Achilles should hamper him this year. And right now, let me ask you this question. Is it a good thing or a bad thing that CMC is technically the only healthy running back in the room for the 49ers? I could see that as a very good thing. And of course, there's a bad side to that too. And the 49ers have been, just add water in some ways with your Padre hat on. I had this internal discussion with our team. The 49er running back room in some ways is like the San Diego Padres relievers. I mean, Trevor Hoffman is awesome, but have we had a bad reliever since? I mean, they just keep coming. Some of that has to do with Petco Park, not to take anything away from
Mhm.
Trevor Hoffman, but the one after the other that has all been good. And CMC and the 49ers running backs have been that way, right? I mean, look at all the guys that have come through there and done well. So you got to give Kyle Shanahan some credit. I'm not worried about CMC from a medical standpoint, and I don't really believe in injury prone. There's prone to injury if you're a 3-down running back, but not injury prone. Godwin, we have some concern. There was just a tweet just today, not that long ago, about how he hasn't really worked out. He's a speed guy. You'd think he's okay because he got a new contract, but he's got a ways to go yet, Godwin. Same with Aiyuk. I saw a video of Aiyuk cutting the other day. He looks good. He looks great. I couldn't cover him. I mean, no offense, you probably couldn't cover him, but he's coverable by other DBs right now. He's not there yet. He's someone who will round into shape or form. Right now, we have a season-long, yellow 6 score in Aiyuk. Game-wise, for week 1, he's probably red. We're not expecting him to play, but by later in the season, he'll be green. So that's why we have him amalgamated as yellow right now. Tempered expectations on Aiyuk.
With Aiyuk, expectation right now is he's back week 6. How many weeks do you think it is until he's more of that green, ready to go, closer to 100% type situation?
Just if I had to pick a number, I'd say week 12.
Oh, okay. Wow.
If we're just now, recovery's not a light switch. I'm not saying week 11 he can't. Week 12 he's 100%. It's all kind of gradual, but the Brandon Aiyuk that we all know and love, I think, you're looking week 12 or more to get to that, and not early on. Yes, expecting a PUP 6-week start, etc. And, we'll see. Rashee Rice with his knee injury, right? You also have to layer in what's happening with the suspension. And we always struggle at Sports Injury Central. How do we handle suspensions? It's not an injury, but technically it affects their availability. And so we do incorporate that into the team scores and so forth. I haven't seen good enough video to think that he's 100% on his knee yet either. And then you have to factor in the whatever the suspension may or may not be.
Which it looks like
a
NFL
nice recovery, but it would be an upset if he were 100% from day one. He's clearly ahead of Aiyuk right now, but Aiyuk starts the season red and gets to green. Diggs starts the season yellow and hopefully gets to green. Maybe he gets to green at 6-8 weeks, but starts the season in the yellow for us. And one thing, Tyler, for this year that we're debuting, so you may not fully know, but we're going to debut a fantasy injury calculator. And what does that mean? In a given week, everyone, look, if you have Saquon or CMC, you're going to play him no matter what. But what about RB2 or 3, the fringe guys? Who are you going to play? Not only is it important to know the health of the player, wouldn't it be nice to know the health of the offensive line? Wouldn't it be nice to know the health of the defensive front 7 they're facing? We factor that into a fantasy injury calculator. We take expectations and then index them against the running back health, the O-line health, and the front 7 defensive health. For a wide receiver, we'll index them against the quarterbacks, their own quarterback's health, the other wide receivers in terms of targets. We emphasize the tackles for pass rush, pass blocking. We factor in the defense rush ends and the DBs. We put that into one index number. So it sort of helps you. Look, if you have Justin Jefferson, if he's on the field, you're playing him, right?
Yeah, totally.
I mean, that's just the way that it works. But if you have some other guys, I mean, it's a matter of let's look at what their matchups are, not only from strategy, but just strictly from health. So that's what the fantasy injury calculator will do at sicscore.com.
Yeah, I love that. And if everybody listening has not already checked it out, you absolutely should go over and check out the website that Doc founded at sicscore.com. That's SIC, as Doc just said. It is a very good resource. One thing here, we touched upon Godwin. When do you think he'll be back?
Well, it's not. It's
hard.
I always say it's a two-layered question: when he's back and when he's 100%, right?
Mhm.
And I think some of the knee injuries are more certain, right? Godwin I haven't seen any video of Godwin working out yet, and
I haven't either.
it was an ankle fracture dislocation injury, which can be severe. So, I mean, it's one thing to be Dak Prescott and a quarterback and come back from it. It's another to be Chris Godwin, the speed and cuts that he needs to make. So he might be in some ways the iffiest one on that list that you have right now.
Interesting. Okay. Well, let's moving on over to the next portion. And this is just kind of more the miscellaneous ones. We don't know the full picture. And it could take a little while with this one. First and foremost, let's talk about Joe Mixon and his foot, the possible NFI list. There's just a lot of unknown with this spot.
We just talked about Joe Mixon a lot in our podcast earlier today. Here's the thing. There's a lot of unknowns there. Foot, it was ankle last year. But the biggest thing, and here's the advantage I feel like I have. Having been a former head team physician, not only is like not all Liz Franks are equal, not all high ankle sprains are equal, not all effects on running backs are equal because there are different types of running backs. We even look at side, in terms of this is why we're actually high on left tackle, rookie left tackle, first round draft pick for the Chiefs. Yes, he ruptured his patella, but it was his left patella. And so his healthy right side, he can still kick out and he's doing well already. So that's kind of what we do at Sports Injury Central. But the other thing is from experience, what flashes bright lights to me, and you put it on here, is Joe Mixon is not on PUP. He's on NFI. What is up with that? Like we see it all the time. The college guys are on NFI because the NFI means non-NFL football injury, right? And NFI is a mechanism that potentially the team cannot pay the player. This is Joe Mixon. He's been there. If this were a lingering injury from last year, he wouldn't be NFI. And look, just because you heard it not with the team, are you telling me that the only workout players do in the offseason is the OTAs and then the mini camps? So for between mini camp and training camp, they don't work out. The OTAs that start twice a week, you don't work out. Other than that, no, they're working out all the time. And it is normal if you report an injury when you were working out on your own, that you get put on PUP, not NFI. NFI is almost a shot across the bow. We don't know what it is going on there. The Texans are very secretive, but the bottom line is there is something missing to this story here. Did he not follow treatment protocols? Did he hurt it doing something else? I'm not saying Najee Harris eye. Look, Najee Harris eye is clearly an NFI, non-football injury, right? Did he do it playing basketball? I don't know. I'm just saying something's not right with that designation. And it shows that there's some animosity for the situation. And we don't know what it is. I always say if something doesn't make sense from the outside, it does from the inside. They know exactly what's going on. Like Derek Carr's retirement. It was not a surprise to the New Orleans Saints. They knew it was coming. And his shoulder issue potentially. That was just a bargaining chip. Don't take away my guaranteed money. I won't go on injured reserve for the year and you owe me a year's salary because I do have a shoulder injury, right? It was a negotiation point, in my opinion, for Derek Carr and the Saints. It wasn't a surprise when Rap Sheet said, well, he might need shoulder surgery. It ended up being, leverage for him to keep all his initial money, upfront signing bonus money. It always makes sense in the end. So
yeah,
we'll see about Joe Mixon.
Yeah, so there's major concern with something else going on or, organizational issues with him. Now let's get over to Matt Stafford in his back issue. He was back at practice today, but now we're a little over 2 weeks away from the start of the season, 17, 18 days, something like that. And this is the second time he's practiced. The first one was not this last Saturday, the week before, and then he took a week off. What are your thoughts? We all know he's a vet and can can go on no practice, but there's some concern.
Well, the concern for Matt Stafford is not that he hasn't practiced. The concern for me is he's listed as the back, and that is the injury, but it's really a nerve issue. How do we know it's a nerve issue? He's been reported to have and need epidural steroid injections. Those are for herniated discs for nerve issues. It is an injury in the back, but it's not like my back is sore. It's I've got pain going down my leg and or weakness. So that's a concern. What are the ranges for that? One range, look, Matthew Stafford is as tough as they come. He's this side or maybe equal to Phillip Rivers, right? For longevity and playing through injuries. Phillip Rivers had a back issue in 2014, I believe, and played through the season with epidural steroid injections. And nobody even knew in San Diego at the time till after the fact, right? And so that's the good side of it. On the other hand, Tony Romo, near his end of his career, did not finish the season and had back surgery, disc surgery that ended his season. So that's the big range for Matthew Stafford. Look, there's been a lot of coach speak. Oh, it's just day to day. Oh, wait, it's more week to week. Oh, wait, he's practicing Saturday or Monday. He is or isn't. And then it went to no speak, right? The assistant head coach, acting head coach said, I'm not talking about it at all. Great to see him back on the practice field. And yes, he can throw a ball. That's great. But the first video I saw, it was Matt Stafford in the middle, Stetson Bennett, and Jimmy Garoppolo. All three lined up next to each other. Two of them were under center. One was in shotgun and looking a little gingerly. Take a guess who that was. I don't think he's anywhere near 100% yet. The worry is it's a nerve issue, and it still is concerned. I'm not saying that he won't play and he won't be there, but you're not out of the woods on Matt Stafford and all the fantasy implications that would have. And so it remains to be seen. The story remains to be seen on Matthew Stafford.
All right. And now the next one, I wanted to go over Hollywood Brown. And part of the reason is because of the murky situation of the Chiefs wide receivers with Rashee Rice, his injury, and his possible suspension. So this ancillary piece, Hollywood Brown, with a knee ankle injury last year was injury riddled. Not totally sure what's going on here as well. He was at least back at practice today.
I'd have, if your decision is a coin toss between Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown, from a health and availability standpoint, especially with the looming suspension, I'd go Hollywood Brown. I'm not saying they're equal players. I'm just saying if
you're saying from an injury standpoint,
if you're telling me that they're equal in your mind and you need to pick one, I would go Hollywood Brown for more availability and better health on the season.
Okay. Even with, we talked about a little bit earlier how there's no such thing as being injury prone, but if there is,
but see, one of the things I look at
in and out
is also injury recovery. And Hollywood Brown has gotten his injuries. He's come back fairly quickly, including the SC joint and other things. So he's shown a toughness to me.
Okay. So since he's back now, you think he's probably good come week one at least, and then in a much better situation than Rashee Rice. Now let's go with Najee Harris, 4th of July accident and his eye. A lot of people are concerned. He's barely practiced. He's seen on the practice field wearing a weighted vest and just walking.
He has not cleared his physical yet. Yeah. So what you see him is on the side field. Okay. And there are reports he's running. And I'm not saying Najee Harris is blind in one eye. Don't get me wrong. Okay. But you don't need binocular vision, both eyes, to be able to run and work out on a side field. But you do need binocular vision to play NFL running back. Why? Very hard to catch a pass if you don't have both eyes working and tracking, because that's how you get depth perception. Very hard to pick out holes and angles if you only have one working eye. I'm not saying he's blind in one eye, but clearly the injured eye is still not 100%. And he's missing a lot of reps, right? And teams sometimes tend to move on. So I don't know what his eye thing is. It's not a guarantee he plays week one, but even when he does play, will he be RB1 for Jim Harbaugh. Jim's famous for having a next man up mentality, and obviously NFI there. So I think there's potential issue with Najee Harris there. He certainly isn't going to be the bell cow anymore, right? No one thinks that anymore. And where he is from there, I hope he makes 100% recovery. Very unfortunate with the eye issue.
Yeah, I mean, that's scary. I can't imagine having, a firework or something from the fireworks hit your eye. So hope the best for him. Then Jordan Love had surgery on his thumb on the non-throwing hand. Any concerns with that? I saw he was wearing a brace over the weekend.
This is a great one to end on because I like to talk about positives. No worries whatsoever. We said it on the podcast, and apparently there was a report of it afterwards. If it were his throwing hand, there's more concern. But Drew Brees had that in New Orleans, and from our war room, we said, here it is. And we said he's going to need surgery because you can't grip and throw and spin a ball. And then it came out that he was going to need surgery, and everyone said, it's over for the Saints. I said, no, he's going to return and play in 6 weeks. And he did, right? The difference here, this is Jordan Love's non-throwing hand. He could go out there with tape and a brace today and play if it were the regular season. He just got it fixed. Why? Because you do have to handle the ball with both hands. There was time in the preseason to get it healed and ready so that he's fine for the regular season. Zero worries on Jordan Love and his thumb surgery.
Wow, that's good to hear. That's kind of what I expected. And thank you for having us. Thank you for coming on and for your time. And please, everybody, go to sixscore.com. Check them out. Any parting words or anything you want to finish on?
Well, really check out the fantasy injury calculator. I think that's going to be great. And the parting finishing words is go Padres. Come on. I took my son up to the Dodger game on Saturday. That was no fun. I mean, we weren't even in it from the get-go, but we'll get the Dodgers again next weekend and more. So maybe the parting words are go Padres there. And they've got their own injury issues and concerns, but and actually at Sports Injury Central, we do baseball as well. We told you when Michael King went out that the team would be lucky if they got him back right after the All-Star break at 100%. And obviously it was a few weeks beyond there and so forth. So baseball and other sports too, but obviously it's football season. So let's concentrate on that.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Dr. Chao, thank you very much. I wish you the best and have a great day. Thank you very much, guys. Please follow us on LionStar. Make sure to hit like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that fun stuff. And I'll see you guys all later. Bye.
Thank you, sir.